seat, folks. Let's get this party on the road. We are looking forward to an awesome evening. Absolutely. Do I see Pastor Burdick up here? You're going to be first on the call. Pastor Burdick, we can't start without a prayer. There we go. I want to welcome everybody. Appreciate y'all being here this evening. And the Fredericksburg Tea Party, we figured this out a few years ago, that once we started praying before our meetings and before our steering committee meetings and before any big decisions we needed to make, that it made all the difference in the world. And it changed who we are and how our organization was. And so we're going to continue that, and Pastor Michael Burdick is going to lead us in invocation, and we're going to follow that with the pledges.
Let's pray. Father, we the people of the hill country of Texas, called by your name, we do humble ourselves before you tonight, asking for your favor and blessing on this worthwhile fundraising event and dinner tonight, and all that will be accomplished moving forward. We ask your blessing on those who sit before us and those who plan to be here, like Naomi and Jeff Narvaez and others who couldn't make it. But so many patriots of the state of Texas and of our nation, the United States of America, and righteous servants of your kingdom here tonight, and civil servants here tonight. Father, we do recognize that you have blessed this nation that we have gratefully inherited, to be founded to be a land of liberty and justice for all under God, and you have given we the people the responsibility of the government of this nation. As one of our nation's founders, Samuel Adams, said, the liberties of our country, the freedoms of our civil constitution are worth defending at all hazards. It is our duty to defend them against all attacks. We have received them as a fair inheritance from our worthy ancestors. They purchased them for us with toil and danger and expense of treasure and blood. It will bring a mark of everlasting infamy on the present generation, enlightened as it is, if we should suffer them to be wrested from us by violence without a struggle, or to be cheated out of them by the artifices of designing men. And so, Father, we do recognize our responsibility for what we've received. We ask for you to strengthen us, to give us wisdom and courage to act, depending on you to guide us. We ask you to bless this time we have together tonight. We ask for your favor and for unprecedented fundraising success and the fellowship that will result from our time together. And Father, we ask you to bless this food that we will partake of tonight, and that it might nourish our bodies and strengthen us with your goodness as we continue in the blessing you gave us that we so enjoy tonight. In the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please stand for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. And if you want to stay standing, I do believe we're about to sing the national anthem with Elizabeth Rose. So Elizabeth, come on up.
Oh, see, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were
beautiful. Thank you so much, Elizabeth Rose. I feel like Sleepy Joe up here. Here's what they're telling me to say next. And they're telling me here's what to say next. I'm supposed to give you some instructions about getting food, so pay attention because this is important. Because you can see we're in a full room here. So the way this is going to work, we've got some ushers on both sides, and if you're on this side of the room, the ushers are going to release you from the front table going back, and if you're on this side of the room, I want you to go out that door on that end, and if you're on this side of the room, go out that door and go all the way around the room where the silent auction things are. And then both sides, when you get your plates, please come back in through the center door. So we'll be moving out that way. So that is the way. So our ushers can release. I don't even see the ushers over there. George, do you see the ushers? No, okay. George says, please remember your table numbers so you don't get lost in here. I think George is probably the only one that really needs to remember his table number, but that's why he reminded us about that. So please, enjoy your food, enjoy the dinner. This is a night that we worked really hard. George Studer and Angela Smith have been working. Say thank you to George and Angela. And also our event partners, Liberty in Action, We the People. Y'all make a ruckus wherever you are. We the People, Liberty in Action, right over there. And the Kirk County Patriots, that would be George. Y'all make some noise over there. All right. These are our co-sponsors, and if you don't know these two organizations in Kerrville, they are fledgling groups. They're getting started, but let me tell you, they are rolling. They are rolling, and we're real proud to have them in the Hill Country. And on top of that, it saves you from driving all the way over to Fredericksburg for a meeting. See, you got your own meetings here. So who are my ushers, and are we going to start? Let's go ahead and start the ushers. Start dismissing tables, please. And there you go. Visit with your friends. We're going to have a slideshow going up here, and enjoy your dinner. And I'll be back up here in a bit.
He has this coffee cup in his hand, and he surprised me. I was in charge, like sitting right there. And somebody says, hey, Buzz Aldrin's here. What are you going to do? I said, well, we'll stop the show. We go off the panel, hear what he has to say. A room this big full of engineers. And, okay. So he gets up there, and he's right about there, talking to some guys, and he decides to jump up on the stage with his coffee. As if he was still on the moon. I don't know. And horror of horrors, I'm sitting there, and he is falling backward onto the floor.
Oh no.
And nobody wants Buzz Aldrin to fall on the floor at that age. And they caught him. And the reason why I say that story is that God has been at work. And we've got lots of people that have helped out, but every little bit of the way, when we pray, he fills in the gap, something changes, he fills it in. You can trust God, okay? So we're trusting God for this night that we will fill a war chest. Okay, we've got 500 tickets left out there for a raffle. I've got 3 big packages, Best of Fredericksburg, Best of Stonewall, and Best of Johnson City. Big packages that I need you guys to get some interest in the silent auction and the raffle. That fills up our war chest. But we're going to hear some other folks get up here and tell you that it's not just about the war chest, it's what we go into action with. So I'm here to try to we put those Best of Johnson City, all these different raffle and silent auction items up there so you can take a look. We got till 8:30, to do what we do there. So maybe you have to sneak in and out, I don't know. All right, Matt, you ready to go next step?
Yes, sir. I'm not going to jump up on this. Thank you, George. So some of these silent auction items, there's some really cool ones. The Best of Johnson City, Best of Fredericksburg, which has all kinds of stuff in it. I think it has lodging and wine and restaurants and all kinds of stuff. So you need to go check those out. It would be a good gift for, you know, so many people get married in Fredericksburg. It'd be an awesome gift if you knew someone coming up to the hill country to get married. You'd have that package all ready for them. So go get out there into that silent auction and check some of those things out. We'd like to ask right now if we could, actually I want to thank our sponsors. Let me get all my paperwork. They told me what to say.
That's committed forever.
Yeah, all right, here we go. Convention of States has always been an awesome support of the Fredericksburg TEA Party, wherever Convention of States is. Thank you so much. They're always the first to step up, and they have been supporting us from the get-go. And whether or not you're in favor of that, if you're not, I'll be glad to sic Richard or Henry on you to straighten you out. But anyway, we want to thank those guys. Texas Right to Life. They're not. I don't think they have anybody here tonight, but they're a big supporter of ours, and we want to thank you to Texas Right to Life. In fact, you can thank them for our abortion. The heartbeat bill. Those guys have been working so hard for that. And Ace Hardware, I don't know who owns it, but there's some guy that owns Ace Hardware. He's got a white hat on and a beautiful wife. Kyle Biederman and Ace Hardware, thank you very, very much. Kyle keeps us in line when I get all excited and go to the Capitol, and Kyle says, Matt, they don't want to hear that. And so he keeps me in line when I'm up there. So thank you, Kyle and Ace Hardware. Grassroots America. Again, round of applause for Grassroots America. Grassroots America is part of the statewide conservative grassroots, and we have leadership meetings about quarterly, and we get together at an undisclosed location. I call it the secret squirrel meeting, and and we have kept it secret because in the early days we did get infiltrators, and we discussed tactics and things like that in that meeting. So yeah, the secret squirrel meeting, and that's headed up by Joanne Fleming and the Grassroots America. Joanne's been in this battle for 30 years, and she is really our grassroots leader in the state. Patriot Tubular Services, Rex Williams. Rex helped pay for the band. Not only that, Rex is he's the guy who brings our dinner to every meeting, our regular meeting. Rex is our cook and brings the meals. So big hand to Rex. Thank you. And the hard-working bunch of gun owners of America. Man, did we finally get permitless carry? We finally got permitless carry. Those guys have been after this for, I don't even know, longer than I think a lot of their membership aren't even old enough to have been around since that fight started. But I'm telling you, they've been battling for that. Michael Belsick joined them in with the 2A group, and where's Brian? Brian down in Kerrville as well joined in. Gun Owners of America, absolutely your Second Amendment go-to people in the state of Texas. Never mind that other alphabet one, what an NBA or something like that. Forget that one. Go to GOA, Gun Owners of America. Those guys know what they're doing, and we're real proud of them. And of course, my favorite, the Ranch Radio Group right over here. Thank you, Ranch Radio. And Harley Blue. he left the room. He saw me coming up here. I think Harley's starting to get nervous because, you know, for years it was Harley who was always emceeing all these local events. And so I don't know, Harley, move over, buddy. So, but I want to thank them. Harley and the Ranch Radio Group gave me an opportunity to be on the radio. I had never, ever done radio ever in my life. And Harley calls me up and says, Matt, I think you need a show to promote the Fredericksburg Tea Party. And I've been there 2.5 years now. And it's thanks to Harley and the Ranch Radio Group for even giving me a chance. They knew nothing. They didn't know what they were going to get. Thank you, Ranch Radio Group. And then our good friends Charlotte and Michael Belsick are a major sponsor of this. Where are you guys at? Mike and Charlotte. There you go. Mike and Charlotte, thank you very, very much for the Belsicks. So right now, see, they took my podium away. Right now I'd like to invite Ken Moore and Nate Quay up to the stage, please. Ken Moore and Nate Quay, would you guys head up here? Nathan Quay and Ken Moore are part of an organization called the 100 Club. And I would like for Nathan just to take just a second, and I'm going to hand you the mic and let you tell us what the 100 Club is, please.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there is an assault on law and those that seek to enforce it in our country. And so what the 100 Club of Gillespie County seeks to do is to raise money for all of the things that officers do not get in their budget. So they get all of their needs. We want to fill some of their wants. So that's what we do. Fair enough?
Thank you, Nathan. So every year when we do our fundraiser, we take a portion of our fundraiser and we find a worthy project to donate that money to. And so this year's recipient of that is the Fredericksburg 100 Club, and we have a check we're handing these guys right now. Just don't try to fold that up and put it in your wallet. So, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. And anything y'all can do to help support the 100 Club, anything we can do for y'all, let us know. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. And I believe, by the way, that check, I believe, is smaller than it's probably going to end up, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to be a lot more than that. It is 10% of the net on this, and so it's going to be more than that. But that's the start. It depends on the silent auction, and that means you better go in there and bid some more on the silent auction items. I noticed the firearms are getting some quite heavy bidding. So anyway, that's excellent. We appreciate that. And I want to go ahead. We're going to have, let's start with Chip Roy. Congressman Roy, would you please come to the stage? I couldn't be more proud of Chip Roy, what he's doing in Washington and standing up for us and just speaking truth on a regular basis. And that's not easy to do once you go to Washington. Chip, thank you very much.
Well, everybody, it's great to be here. Obviously, this is a great night. It's important to have a strong showing here and make sure that this is a well-funded organization to have a strong voice to impact change, because right now we need change. That's it. It's
Amen.
pretty simple. Right now this week, I go back to Washington on Monday. We fly to Belly of the Beast, and I was just sitting here at the table. I mean, I wasn't necessarily going to focus on this, but ask how things are going, and I said, well, you know, next week we're going to have to try to fight off in the National Defense Authorization Act to move to draft our daughters. Some of you know that, a lot of you don't. But the House, the Senate already passed it. Republicans supported it. The House committee already passed it in the House with Republican support. And there's a block of Republican support to say that we have to have our daughters sign up for selective service. That's just one example, right? And we're going to walk back into the issues. Let me just tell you what I think in terms of the state of things. A number of my colleagues, as you would expect in the Freedom Caucus, the good guys, are working on an outline of what we believe are the appropriate items to focus on to impeach President Joe Biden. We believe those things fall into three categories. One, abandonment of our men and women in Afghanistan. Importantly, leaving $85 billion of assets behind and aiding and abetting our enemies in the Taliban, empowering China to take over Bagram Air Force Base, and otherwise abandoning their duty to defend the United States. Number two, failing to faithfully execute the laws of the United States at the border of the United States, leaving the American people and the people of Texas endangered, making sure that it's clear to the American people they understand how much our young people in particular are endangered by fentanyl, 9,500 pounds of it that we have intercepted at the border, 9,500 pounds of fentanyl that is pouring into the United States. He's failing to execute the laws of the United States border. And the third category is the unconstitutional and unlawful actions by the President of the executive order last week with respect to mandating businesses over 100 mandate the vaccine. And relatedly, recent efforts this week that we've been lighting HHS on fire for cutting off monoclonal antibody treatment and cutting the Texas supply in half. So we're going to go after the president. Obviously, you know that we're not going to be able to get that through this current House of Representatives, but it's important to make the case. Now, in terms of what you all need to do, I think there are three areas that you guys need to activate on, in my opinion. In no particular order, let me start with what I think is the most important. Number one, Texas has to be strong. We cannot win this fight for the country if Texas is not strong. We need to hold Texas accountable. You need to keep fighting. We had a decent legislative session on a number of fronts. We got to get through redistricting and fighting to get rid of Austin for y'all. Don't worry, we're working on it. Talking to state legislators, get Austin out of Texas 21. But look, we have to have a strong Texas. That's it. Freedom depends on a strong Texas. That means Texas right now has to step up and enforce the border of this state in order to protect our citizens. Number two, we have to hold Republicans accountable that in January of 2023, and whatever happens in the presidential race, and in January of 2025, that they actually do what they say they're going to do. We have to box Republicans in to do what we demand, what the people demand. The people are sovereign. So again, a strong Texas, and we have to box in Republicans. The third thing that we need to do, and we need your help on, we have to win the culture war. Now the culture war is a big bucket of things, but the main thing is you've got to go take back from all of the woke leftists who are infiltrating our schools, teaching our kids that America's evil, teaching CRT, and taking over the corporate boards. You got all of this environmental social justice nonsense, interfering with capital formation in the markets, influencing what our corporations are doing. We have a climate activist on the board of Exxon, for crying out loud, while they run algae commercials on Sunday afternoon. End that stuff. So we need a war on big corporations who are taking over our freedoms at the left. So those are three things, the action items. A strong Texas, make sure we box in Republicans, and make sure that we retake our country from the culture leftists by winning the culture war, winning the school boards, fight to make sure that our schools have the power. We have school choice and empower parents instead of schools. Take back our country. Texas Tech, Young America's Foundation just exposed CRT being taught at Texas Tech and love it. They backed away because YF exposed it. Go out there and expose all of that garbage. And I'll just leave you with this. Look, we're in a moment right now where it is game time, okay? This country's going to go or fall however we go in this room and however Texas goes. Right now, with 10,000 people in Del Rio coming here from Haiti, with fentanyl pouring into our borders, abandoning our people in Afghanistan, weakening our country, when we're looking at right now these mandates in healthcare, you're unable to go get the healthcare of your choice, and you're not. When we're watching what they're doing with spending, what they're doing with this $3.5 trillion, they're undermining our dollar, they're undermining our country. It's up to you and each and every one of us right now to decide what we're going to do. And in my opinion, Texas has to stand on that wall. And I'm telling you right now, disregard Joe Biden's order on that mandate, disregard what the federal government is saying, and Texas takes our mandate. God bless you all.
on the stage Kyle and Roman. And we got, what is it, beauty before age or something? I think, Kyle, you got beat all the way around. So I'm going to hand, Roman Garcia is the youngest city council member ever elected in the state of Texas. Right here in Kerrville. So, Roman.
Thank you. My name is Roman Garcia. I serve the citizens of the city of Kerrville and City Council, Place 1. I represent all of you in the city. We don't have districts, so feel free to come with me with anything you have. To everybody here who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet, just so you know a little bit, I ran 2 elections. My first election was last year in November, when COVID allowed us to move it from May to November, and then again this year in May. It took me 2 elections to get a seat on the table. To those who are thinking about running, or to those who have ran, you probably know it takes more than one shot to do it. And I would encourage you to keep going. And I had the pleasure of speaking with a lot of the young conservatives that are here up front, and I encourage you to do the same. I was elected at the age of 19, I'm now 20, as the youngest sitting elected official in the state of Texas. I would like to probably not hold on to that title for too long, so I'm looking at some of y'all who's around 19 years or younger. Raise your hand. Perfect. Congressman, you don't count. I'm looking to y'all to take over my spot. I want to be able to call you if you win an election and congratulate you and pass over that title. You know how many times I heard, aren't you too young to run for office? You don't even have the experience that all these other adults do. Well, did you know that George Washington was 21 years old when he received his first military commission? Abraham Lincoln, 22 when he first ran for office? And James Madison was 25 when he signed the Declaration of Independence. And today, our young men can get drafted into the military at the age of 18 years old to serve, protect our country, sacrifice their lives. So there's no reason that somebody any younger than that can't run for office and do the same thing. I would encourage y'all, here's the challenge. For you, those young adults, the youth, get involved. Start going to your city council meetings, your school boards, county commissioners. It starts here at home. And for those who are not young adults that can help guide them, do so. They need you. Lean on the adults who have the experience. That's what I've learned to do. So join me as we continue to make an everlasting, a positive, everlasting effect for the next generations, for the future of our country. Thank you.
My favorite representative up at the Capitol, and I'm so proud of him. My only representative. Yeah, well, I guess, see, yeah, there you go. Kyle Biederman.
Thank you. Well, just think if most of us, including myself, started out at his age, we would be changing this whole country as well as the state of Texas.
That's right.
We don't need to be waiting. We don't need to wait. I waited until I was 55, but it doesn't matter. I went in and I just do what you all would do, because what's most important in this country is freedom, liberty, godly principles, morality, the things that built this country, and as long as you stand on those principles, you will never be wrong. And you don't have to worry about being liked by man.
That's right.
And people. You got to be liked by God, and He will bless you above all. What's interesting is, youngest city councilman, my uncle is the oldest county judge in the state of Texas. Oldest county judge, and he's out in West Texas, and he's fighting that border garbage.
Oh, man.
I mean, he's the county judge at Husband County, and a great man. But the point is, we can all be involved.
And listening to Chip, man, thank you for what you're doing. How horrible it is to be in the minority up in Washington, D.C. We're in Texas. We won that last election. We should be winning a lot more. We should be winning greater. And when we go through redistricting and what's going on in D.C., these midterm elections are going to be huge for the Republican Party if we get out and make it happen. We're fighting all we can in the legislature. We need you to help get more people elected. We need to be stronger in Texas because just as Chip said, Texas is the leader of this country. And what Texas does, everybody's watching. And I'm just grateful this last legislative session, the last 2 weeks, we got a lot done in 2 weeks. You know why? Because you got someone like Chad Prather that wants to stand up and challenge this governor and make him do things that he would never do. I've been there 6 years, and he wouldn't do any of those things. But we got people like Chad standing up. He feels threatened because the people like what Chad has to say. And he hasn't, our governor right now has not been listening to people, only his donors. That's right. So that's how you can make a difference. We're winning when we get out there and we make ourselves available for God to use us, but also to speak the truths of what the people want. And so I'm just so grateful, Chad. I can't wait to hear from you later. But God bless you all. Be involved. If you ever need anything or if you want to need information, I'm happy to help you anywhere I can. And of course, the Fredericksburg TEA Party, without them, I wouldn't even be in the legislature. So they are a great resource, and there's so many more out here. So thank you all. God bless you. Thanks.
Maria, come on out. And let's see, Bianca, Garcia. And y'all, when y'all come up here, y'all be very careful with the cords, because I'm pulling one out. And Weston Martinez, come on up. All right, Maria says, I'm going first. Did y'all like arm wrestle for this or something? Okay, all right, here we go. Maria, tell us who you go.
Buenas noches, damas y caballeros. Hey, I'm just kidding, I speak English. My name is Maria Miller. I'm the Vice President and National Coordinator for the organization Latinos for Trump, not affiliated with the campaign, but our goal is the same. We push for the America First agenda, and real quick before I pass it over to the President, Bianca Garcia, I want to give you the definition of Latinos for Trump is free-thinking American Hispanics not owned by the Democrat Party. And the reason I say that is important because I am not a Lexit person, or I've always been conservative, I've always voted Republican. But I just got really sick and tired of every time I walked into the polls, this was before we went to the automated thing, and I'd walk up and they'd smile and have that ballot ready, and I'd look at it and I'd say, oh no, the other one. And they'd look at me and they'd go, oh. You know, and I joined this organization 2.5 years ago, and because this is important, you guys, I don't know how many Latinos are in the audience tonight. You know that song that Donnie and Marie used to sing, I was country when country wasn't cool? Well, I'm conservative minority when conservative minority wasn't cool, okay? So, we, Latinos for Trump, Latinos for America First, what we do, and Bianca can tell you, but basically what I just gave you in the definition, free-thinking American Hispanics, is what we do is we try to go out into engage the Hispanic communities and let them know that you can come out of the closet. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz when the house fell and the Good Witch came out and told the Munchkins, come out, come out. That's what we do. We go to these communities and we tell them, you can come forward, you can raise your hand and shout it out. And Trump was very instrumental in helping us push that message that it's okay to be Hispanic and it's okay to be conservative and we're Christians too. So, you know, hey, all glory to God, right? So anyway, with that, I present to you the president and founder of the organization and of our PAC, Latinos for America First, Bianca Garcia.
Thank you, Marie. I never know what I'm going to say in front of a crowd, but I just came fired off Steve Bannon this morning in the war room, like going sound off. When I sound the alarm, I've been telling people, I said, we don't have a crisis. Since March, I've been telling them, there's no crisis at the border. It's an invasion.
That's right.
Okay, call it what it is. Stop using these little words, okay? So, I am Bianca Garcia, President of Latinos for Trump organization, and also Executive Director of Latinos for America First. We are looking, and in our PAC, we got a campaign corner set up on our website, latinosforamerica1st.com, and we are going to be pushing and helping with boots on the ground and money to support America First candidates. Now, I don't know about you, but Maria was born, or was actually conservative long before, since she was little. I wasn't. I grew up as a Democrat. I grew up in Robstown, Texas. Don't get any more Democrat than that. All right, thank you very much. So, in 2008, I believe my mom said, we're no longer affiliated with that party. Obama's an antichrist. We must all vote for, So I didn't understand it back then. We just do, in the Hispanic culture, we do what our mother tells us to do. Roman, do you know what I'm talking about? Or are you going to get that boot or chancla? So, we didn't ask questions until Donald Trump came down and started messaging. Okay, he was ripping Band-Aids, everybody's like, oh my God, he's so mean. But he talked to me, and he talked to my culture. I have brothers that are veterans. My husband's a veteran. He was police. He's also a sergeant of police. He's over human trafficking in Harris County. Can you believe that? Yeah, thank you. Ooh, feel bad for me, guys. But let me tell you, that's why I spoke up, is because of my family. And when Hillary Clinton was saying that she was pro-life, I knew that she was lying through her teeth. Or there were signs up in the town I grew up with that by the Catholic Church saying Hillary's pro-life. Messaging to the Hispanic community I grew up in, and it was a lie. So I had to speak up. And I'll tell you, and I said this in Washington, D.C. in the first March in November. Us Mexican-American, Mexican, Hispanics, we were at the Battle of San Jacinto, we were at the Battle of Alamo, we have 62 Medal of Honor Hispanics in the state of Texas, and if you think that we are not going to stop, that we're going to stop fighting for our freedom and liberty, you got something else coming. We ain't giving it up. Are Hispanic. 34% of the people in the armed forces are Hispanic. They're the frontline people right now. It's who I fight for. They've been muzzled. And I'm in their community. We're the only organization that has fed Border Patrol agents. We've gone all the way from Brownsville all the way to El Paso feeding Border Patrol agents. It's what we do. We reach out, we engage. We make sure that they know and their families know that there are choices. You don't have to vote Democrat. But let me tell y'all something. It's a rude awakening with what's going on right now. We're not owned by the Democrat Party, but let me tell you something. We're definitely not owned by the Republican Party. And the way that the Republican Party is acting right now, you're not going to earn our vote. So the last thing you don't need to let us sit out on anything. You need us. But we need you. Because you are the platform that has our values and our principles. I don't know how I get so passionate. 7 brothers and sisters. Anyhow, listen, I applaud you guys. I'm tired of the culture war. I just want to be American and I want to be Texan. All right? But we're fighting. So I just tell you, visit our website, LatinoTrumpCoalition.org. Donate if you can, become a member, or sign up to get our newsletters. We are out there lobbying, and we pick up the phones, we get people, I do sound out, we do call of actions. We are grassroots. So, anyhow, I say God bless you, God bless Texas. And, you know, I'm really, I just never thought I'd see what's going on in this country, and especially in the state of Texas. So, you know, for the elected officials, I will applaud you when you do good things, but let me tell you, you do not want me on your heels. So do your job, because it's what we elected you to do. But thank you and God bless you.
And Mr. Quay Martinez. Nobody's said Latinx yet tonight.
Latinx. So, how do you follow Bianca Garcia after she does something like that? I'm Weston Martinez, and I'm a conservative Republican from Sodom and Gomorrah, aka San Antonio. So my friend Joel Medina just did a song recently, and it was tuned to a George Strait song, and the song goes, ready? Biden would look so good in jail, and Kamala should go straight to hell. If you want to know more, go to my YouTube channel or go to Chad's. I think he sang it one night last night. But let me tell you something. We are at war. Okay, y'all know that I'm running for I'm not even here to talk about my campaign. We're here to talk about the fact that I still live in a state where Texas should still represent the word freedom. And we have a legislative body that wants us to go silently into the night. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at war. But Biden today shut down the checkpoint 20 miles in at Laredo for 14 hours. You want to talk about how much fentanyl crossed in 14 hours? A whole bunch. I worked with Project Veritas to get that lady arrested for voter fraud down in San Antonio. Oh yeah. Thank you. She impacted over 400,000 votes across the state of Texas. We are at war. If you think that we're not, you absolutely are asleep. I spoke at a voter fraud event the other day. There was 400 people there. 95% of them were 5 years younger than me, and the other half were 5 years older than me. We have to get engaged. The time is now. I will close with this. If you think that one vote doesn't make a difference, you need to move to California. When we unite, we win. When conservatives unite, we win. When the people in the battles of the Alamo and the Bible united, they won. When the angel of the Lord appeared to Joshua, what did he say? Who are you for? Mine or my enemies? What did the angel of the Lord say? Neither. You better worry about being on the Lord's team versus somebody being on your team. I'm a member of the GOD party long before I'm a member of the GOP party. And it is absolutely time for us Christians to come out of our house, out of our closets, and get to work. If you read the story about Elijah, how many know about Elijah? Elijah taunted the false prophets. He taunted them. I just wanted to get as loud as Bianca one time. Mexican, not a Mexicant. We have to unite. And you are the secret weapon. Each and every one of you have the time, the talent, the ability, and the treasure to get people in office that will listen to you. Thank God for the Fredericksburg Tea Party. Thank God for these good people like Angela and Matt and every one of you that helped get this thing together. Because if we didn't do it, if y'all didn't do it, we wouldn't have a Texas to look forward to saving the United States of America with. I'm Weston Martinez. God bless each and every one of you.
All right, I need to invite Lieutenant Colonel Raul Reyes up here, please, and Mike Miller. And when I first heard Mike start to speak, it was a couple of months ago, I thought someone needs to give him a Valium, get this guy a drink or something. And then when I heard his story, I was surprised he wasn't rowdier. So very proud of Mike Miller and Raul Reyes. Thank you very much for coming down here today.
Thank you. Well, some of you don't know me, but I ran in the 23rd district just south of here. Goes all the way from San Antonio to El Paso. Votes, every vote matters because I lost by 7 votes to what I consider the Rhino, current representative of our district. And I'm going to prove that here in a minute. But they asked me to talk about the border. So I want you to visualize what I'm about to tell you because I'm going to give you the problem and then I'm going to give you the solution. Okay? So the first part is illegal aliens on the Mexican side, and you've seen the video, they're walking across these low water areas in Del Rio, Texas. How many of y'all seen that? Great. They get to the other side. That property on the other side is federal easement. It's owned by essentially Joe Biden, DHS, Mayorkas. Border Patrol grabs those folks, and then what do next? They put them on a federally driven bus, DHS, some law enforcement agent, federal law enforcement, and they take them to the Border Patrol station. There they fingerprint these illegal aliens, and then they get them to the NGO who arranges where they're going, and then they go to Laughlin Air Force Base. Laughlin Air Force Base is in Del Rio, and it is a federally owned property. So far, so good? Nowhere in there does the city of Del Rio, the state of Texas, or anybody else, not even the county sheriff, get involved. So far, so good? That's the problem with the policy changes that Biden made, because it was purposeful. So if you're still in a room having a conversation with anybody that says, we need to tell Biden to do this, you need to move to California. Got it so far? What's the solution? Oh, by the way, why is Del Rio the epicenter right now? And I'm from Del Rio, Texas, by the way. Born and raised in beautiful Del Rio, Texas. I want to almost shed a tear by the things I see that are happening to my friends and family in that city. I'm asking to ask everybody to pray for them. But why is Del Rio all of a sudden the epicenter? The key piece is Laughlin Air Force Base. Now here's why I go a little rogue with the Republican Party. And I'm a proud conservative, Christian first, father of three. One of them is a captain in the United States Air Force. So you know I serve this country, so does my family. A Republican asked Joe Biden for access to Laughlin Air Force Base.
That's right.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You're either lacking wisdom or understanding, or you're playing with the other team. Now I'm going to run in that congressional district in the 23rd. I'm going to actually declare next week, so I'm not a candidate yet. And we're going to expose that. But for now, what you need to know is we got people in the Republican Party that aren't playing ball with us. They're playing party with the Uniparty. So they don't want no race on this border, because I'm going to expose that. I would have done that to begin with. So Mexico to federal land, to get Border Patrol for fingerprint, to Laughlin Air Force Base. All federal processing system. It's the illegal alien processing system of Joe Biden. That's the problem. So when you hear anybody say Joe Biden needs to do anything, he's not going to. This is intentional, and they used Del Rio because we gave them access to Laughlin Air Force Base. A Republican did that. A Republican, that's horrible. Here's the solution. Where in there is the solution? I want you to think about this for a second. We own one thing in that entire process, folks, the highways. Abbott went to Del Rio because Raul, Reyes, Frank, Bianca, Garcia, a whole other, Kelly Perry out of Quay County, Mike Miller here, a whole lot of people did rallies in Del Rio, Carrizo Springs, Caney County, Medina County, and on and on and on and on. Caney County Sheriff was about to go rogue and actually apply the Constitution to his law enforcement. Abbott didn't want that, and we'd be embarrassed, so he went to Del Rio and said, we're going to build a wall, arrest everybody. He didn't build anything. Chain link fences are not walls, and he hasn't arrested anybody. Anybody that the DPS picks up, gives them to Border Patrol. Border Patrol then does what? Releases them. Where in there is the solution? Abbott. He has to close the roads to all commerce. So when you hear, I just closed 6 points of entry, he didn't say port, did he? Points of interest. Well, I don't know what the point of entry is. How many? 6? Which ones? You have to close all commerce and make Mexico pay.
Yes.
You back up those roads, the first half mile of Texas, all the way back into Mexico, and Ford, Dodge, Sony, anybody who's building products in Mexico, because their middle incomers are doing better than us.
That's right.
They will squeal like pigs and act, you watch, turn it off. Guess what? Who did that? Donald J. Trump. So, we either got to force Abbott to do what he's got to do. Anybody have high hopes of that right now?
No.
Or elect us some new people.
Yeah.
I tell everybody, Chad knows this, I had a conversation with him earlier. I'm hashtag ABA. Anybody but Abbott.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. This is the guy from Del Rio explaining this to a lot of good people here. You need to spread the word. It is that simple. The problem is it's all federal process. It's been policy, so nobody can touch it except one guy, Abbott. The great state of Texas needs a new governor. It needs a new representative down in District 23. It needs to replace a whole lot of rhinos, is what it needs to do. Last item here, I promise, and I'm going to go back to something what Bianca said here. We are not, her, me, Garcia, all these folks, we're colorblind, folks. We're not Hispanic, we're Americans first. So don't disclaim anything with us. Well, Raul, I'm not a racist, but here's the litmus test for all future representatives to U.S. Congress. Ask this question: what will you do with the millions that are coming into this country now after you win back the House and the Senate? And God bless if we can get Donald Trump back in here again. What will you do? What will you do with the millions that have come in here? Because you legalized in some illegitimate way, these people coming in does not make it right. And God is watching. So that's what you need to ask when we get to there. God bless you. You can find me at Lieutenant Colonel Raul Reyes on my Facebook page. Next week sometime we'll have a website up for because we're going to run for Congress. Thank you for your time.
I'm going to have to take off my jacket. It's getting hot up here. 1 second. I got you. Just like this one. Because this has got me really warmed up. Thank you, sir. Thank all of you guys for being here. Yes, ma'am. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so my name is Mike Miller, and if you guys haven't heard my story, I'm a dad, I'm a farmer, I'm a rancher. I got my wife in front of me here. Got my beautiful daughter over there with the Young Conservatives. If I get a round of applause for my beautiful family. The only reason I'm standing in front of you right now is because Jesus Christ has spared my life. That's the only reason. I'm a farmer and a rancher that is fed up with what's going on. I was taking cottonseed and hay to my animals in March, and I was shot at with a fully automatic weapon in Uvalde, Texas. Did that make the news? No. But I worked to get it out there. It didn't get reported on the Border Patrol because I called a cell phone. And now guess what? When something happens on my ranch, I'm calling everybody and their grandmother. Because they're going to know something happened on my property. If something happens, you call your local sheriff's department, your police department, your border patrol. Be active because that needed to get reported. But it also changes home values in areas, right? Well, if that wasn't enough, we had hunting guests on the property. And I had a guy from the Honduras trying to get to my wife and my daughter. I detained that son of a gun myself. And he had 6 more people with him, and I got to his GPS on his phone because he goes electrical. And I was able to get it to Border Patrol. I fed the guy dinner instead of beating the crap out of him. And they came in to detain him, and these guys take people's organs, they harvest them, folks, and they sell them. It's happening. So I asked God, I said, God, I pray for every single person that's been affected by this. I said, God, use me. This is your creation. God, bring me the finances. Bring me the people that have the skill sets that I don't have. And God, amplify my voice. Well, I want you guys to know He's done just that. And swiftly, I've been on almost every single conservative meeting across the nation. I'm speaking with General Michael Flynn, Mike Lindell. I am on the world tour with Clay Clark. I'll be in Colorado Springs next week. It just so happens I follow Chad Prather everywhere. He's seen me in Dallas. He's probably like, who's this guy? He was interviewing with me in Lindell TV and CPAC before I even got there. I decided to create Warriors for Ranchers for this reason. When I spoke up, I saw the people. And the U.S. Customs asked me to come to a meeting. And I saw the eyes, and I saw the tears, and I saw the people, but I saw folks that were afraid to say something. And that's because the cartel's dangerous. I'm standing before you guys to tell you guys I have spoke out against the cartel. My cell phone rang. They have a $1.5 million price on my head right now. I have a bounty on my head. But you guys know what that did? That lit fire under my boots. You know what that did? That made me an internationally accredited journalist. I am going out and exposing people. So I know my time's short here, but I want to tell you guys this. Does CNN tell the truth? No. You know who does? So when the border in Del Rio just had this group of individuals, 9,780 people there. We had CNN, Univision, New York Times, CNN Mexican channel. Sorry if I didn't say that right. We had every single group of people there, and you had Warriors for Ranchers sitting there. But I want you guys to know that the judge of Del Rio pulls me aside. And he goes, hey Mike, can I have you come over here and talk to me? I'm not sure, okay. He goes, you're known for getting loud. There's 9,000 some odd people under that bridge, and we just don't want you starting an international incident. I said, can I be honest with you, sir? You got the Communist News Network getting on that bus. He goes, well, damn it, Mike, just go get on the bus. I was recognized as a mainstream media source, and I haven't even been doing this since March. You know why? I'm exposing every single one of those people, moving kids across the country in the middle of the night. I want you guys to know that I've got individuals now looking to fund me because we know what's happening in Texas, right? Don't you guys think it'd be freaking awesome if somebody went on the other side and we show them how to get here? I'm doing it because I care about you. I care about the kids. I care about the future of Texas, and I am fed up. So I'm going to ask you guys this. We're in a room of patriots. How many of you guys are patriots in this house? All right? Abbott is a rhino. He is. I've been to the Texas State Capitol. They don't want me in that house. We need people like Chad Prather in that house. We need men of God in that house. We need men who are going to do things for the people. So I just wanted to get that saying out there. When you walk away from here, you take 10 more people with you. You said, hey, we need to do something. Don't just sit on your hands, because I'm going to tell you this. 29,000 more people are going to be in Del Rio tonight, and that doesn't even count the other checkpoints. You guys follow Warriors for Ranchers. You guys can follow me at warriorsforranchers.com. And if you feel led by God to donate to my organization to help me to get out there and expose this, I can only do it based on donations. Thank you guys. God bless Texas, and God bless America.